Today I have the 19 by 25 watt RGBW BI from XFA Lights. This is the light that could do so much. It just has some problems with it. I'm going to kind of give you the pros, the cons, the unbelievables, and go from there. So on the back of this unit, the first thing you can see is that we do have linkable power con. Nice feature if you have multiple lights on here. It does come with about a 4-foot long 18 gauge PowerCon 2 Edison 15 amp plug. You do have your DMX in and out, the replaceable fuse, and the on and off switch. Powering the device on is quite quick. It takes about 10 seconds for it to run through its testing with rotate, zoom, pan, and tilt. After it finishes these, it loads right on up into either what setting that you have saved it or the DMX channel main menu. On our front panel, we do have a full-color LCD display and a 5-button keypad for navigating the user interface. Everything on this is seamless. I've had no issues with any of the button presses or confirmations. Now for the operation of this light, I can tell you it is amazing. The colors, the display, the brightness, the projection, everything of it is just excellent. However, there are some big caveats to that. And that's going to really come into part of our user interface, the built-in selections that are there, and our owner's manual. I'll get into this in a short minute, but what it comes down to is for those that are wanting to use this on an auto mode, you're going to find, for the most part, it's okay. However, when we're looking into the DMX mode, there is a lot of function and ability to customize this light, but there's some inconsistencies with the manual, and that does create a large area of concern. Walking through our user interface, we will see that we do have our address, the setup, whether we're going to run it through DMX or the auto programs, our channel selection, the inversion of pan and tilt. This is going to be our Hall and encoder circuit if the unit gets bumped, if it's going to correct itself. The keeping the signal, so if DMX is terminated, whether it returns to home or resumes in its last position. We have a screensaver, the inversion of the screen if we're hanging this upside down, the update of slave, which if we have multiple lights, it can calibrate everything to be in the same movement, our language, our dimmer curves, our speed mode, and then the ability to load our default. When we go into the manual, we can adjust any of these components to confirm operation. We can also set up our calibration. If there is a password, calibration is 4 zeros. And this will also show everything into our mic adjustments. We can reset the device. Keep in mind this does not reset the memory, just the light like it would be on power on. And then our notes, which is going to show our hardware and software versions. So we'll see with the setup. I'm going to take this from DMX mode into Auto 1 mode. Now when that Auto 1 mode is in selection, this light will not receive any sound input. It will select a color, and it will also change the outer ring. So you'll see in some of these, which I'm not going to chase the patterns down, but this does jump from white, red, blue, green, purple, the infamous strobe. But it is very nice. There is static patterns, there's dynamic patterns. The light is quick, and for the most part it is silent. Now, the Auto 1 mode, as you can see, really runs quite a few panels. When we go into our Auto 2 mode, it's going to be a little more aggressive. However, it's going to also show more dynamic patterns. These are going to be the ones to where the lights themselves are moving all around inside of the BI projection itself, and not just an image that is shown with the rotation of the BI. Now here's where it really gets into the problem. Now as you can hear that this room is silent, but when I put this on sound mode, everything goes wrong. You can see with no movement, no sound, no anything, this unit is completely dysfunctional. Now when you look into the manual will show that if we go into calibration, we can go down to the microphone. This is supposed to adjust the sensitivity of that microphone. If you look here, I'm on currently 169. So if I take this down to, let's say something like 0, this should create a change, right? Unfortunately, it does not. Now, if I was to take this one step further and now do 255, no change. Now, unfortunately, the manual does not state where the sensitivity increases or decreases. So, for those that are wanting to run this in sound mode, it is literally unusable. So, unfortunately, that problem does not just stop there. This also goes into the manual. Now, you can see on our first pages of the manual, we will see our channels. Now, this is listed as 28, 42, 85, 99, 104, and 106. But hold on. We also have a 30 channel. So right there is the first problem, that we're not even showing what is actually on this light. Now, as we flip through our channel selections on here, it even gets stranger. We will start at 28 channel. Somehow 30 channel reappeared. We go into 40 channel. Now we're at 85 channel, and then 90 channel. At that point, we go to 104 channel, and we're into 106 channels. That is the end of those channels. But again, if we look into our setup here, we have 28 channel, 30, 42, 85, 99, 104, and 106. Problem I run into with that is that how do I believe that these channels are even accurate? Now, when I've tried to run this through DMX setup, sometimes it crashes the program because these channel strips aren't lining up with what they're declared as. Unfortunately, there has not been any beneficial response from the manufacturer or the seller to resolve this situation. Now, that takes this great light and makes it unhelpful. So in order to show this, I'm going to be running this off of DOS Light, and this will be in the 30 channel mode due to the inconsistent documentation of the channel selection. I currently have this on a low brightness so you can see the lens and the necessity for this to really be cleaned prior to use. This is a plastic lens, and it would be best to use a glasses cleaning rag or scratch-free microfiber that does not leave the little fibers afterward. The colors are very beautiful and dynamic, and as I bring this up to full brightness, as I scroll through my color mixing palette, it does a great job of blending these colors. I don't see jitter. It's just thorough and complete. It projects a beautiful pattern on the ceiling, whether it's zoomed in or zoomed out. The mode I'm going to show next is static mode. This is going to have the multiple different programs that you can rotate, zoom in, or zoom out. Currently, this is on blue just because of the wavelength and the ease on the camera. But as I scroll through our different settings, you'll start to see that this is going to have the first static programs. When this is rotated, this will also project a very nice moonflower type of pattern. This is about every 5 selections it will change to our next pattern. After we get into the finished selectable or customizable colored patterns, it will go into auto static. And the auto static is going to be the predetermined patterns and colors that the manufacturer has put into this light. Currently I'm at 125 on the channel selection. Hits at 130. Now these are going to be your pre-programmed. Keep in mind these will not rotate. There is no movement, hence the term static. But they can make for some very nice displays. That is our limit. And this will run all the way up to 255. Our next selection is the pre-programmed and customizable dynamic mode features. This brings the animation into the unit. This starts on channel 17. This is an adjustable speed with forward and reverse rotation. And as the other ones, it does change every 5. Now the downside of this portion is that these colors are all a snap change. There is no area to fade them. It does state, I believe it's 109 channel, that there is a fade setting. However, those channels don't line up and the fade is inoperable. So no matter what you're working with, you'll have a constant snap change. I find that one to really make this one aggressively jittery, and it's honestly just unfavorable to the eyes, but that's my opinion. I believe it's 150 where this changes into the pre-programmed colors. And there we go. I am slowing down a little bit just so you may see the full program rotation. The downside as well to these is that they are not customizable. So each step you would have to save and set up. It would be nice if that was a feature within this light. You can't have everything. And this is going to be our final dynamic display. Our next component is the halo. Very customizable. When we look down at our channel strip, we'll see that it is our dimming, our strobe, red, green, blue effect, and then the speed. Unfortunately, the strobe is inoperable, at least on the 2 units that I have, but the red, green, and blue blend effortlessly, and the effects start out with static and then work their way into the dynamic. As you can see here, I have this set up as a cyan color right now, but as we scroll through, these are going to show the customizable options and patterns for your color choice. Then after that, it will go into the non-selectable colors. Again, speed is adjustable from a crawl to a very fast dizzying speed. Some of them don't really look that great, others are quite nice. You do have a very large selection to go through. Now these are going to start changing every channel selection. Then it jumps into about every 3, sometimes 5. It's very inconsistent, so that's part of the area of these types of lights and the manufacturers of them. Now it may not look like this on the camera, but the ring is very vibrant. I do have it up to its full brightness. And it does add for a nice effect with the light going in a dark room. We're not even halfway there. Now, not to go through every single one of these to take up the time, but I can say as I kind of speed through these, there is quite a few different options that you can do. But again, same type of repetitiveness on certain units. With this also doing a full rainbow blending, if that's what you're after, and even a circus type of a design. Gets quite interesting. Now to speed it up just to show through the last ones here, you will see that you do end with that if that's a pattern that you seek. I'm not trying to rip this light apart. I think there's a lot of benefits that it has, but some of these flaws are quite large. Another one that I've found is that in our 30 channel mode, as all of the channel modes that I can find, there is not a mode function. And I mean one that's going to switch from Auto 1, Auto 2, sound, if it was operational on the sound mode, and allows you to switch your programs between a sound reactive. This will all have to be done within the program that you're using for DMX, since our main menu or our feature selection is not operational. So depending on how we have the zoom and the rotation set, we can bring this up as a nice area, fast speed, completely slow and stopped. And we can have it anywhere in between that we want. Additionally, if we bring this down to a slow rotate, and we also adjust our zoom, we can make a very widespread design and anything in between. It really opens up the pattern spread on that. Additionally, if we were to take this and put it into our dynamic mode, you can see it is very nice that it allows different patterns, different speeds on those patterns, different rotations. And again, I can't express how large the display of this pattern is. Those are all of the customizable color options for dynamic mode. Again, though, it would be nice if we had a little more fade. Now, if I take that speed and I bring it down, you can see that we don't have so much of a crazy design. But again, as we see this individually, as beautiful as that looks, it also is quite aggressive on the snap. So I hope this kind of helps with your understanding of what to expect with this light. And again, here's one short video of the operation of that light on rotation. If I bring the speed up, it can definitely make for an amazing pattern. You can even see some of the reflection from the BI, that what it's displaying. And that pretty much sums up my review on the XFA Lights 19 by 25 watt BI moving head light. I hope this has helped you. If there's anything that I may have incorrectly described, I'd like to know about that as well. I'm here to learn, I'm here to use, and I'm here to enjoy.